So just to recap, you talked about how the problems really the problem of lack of connection for some, and then being underconnected for also many others, and yeah. So we're talking about bringing affordable internet access, right? And so we just want to understand. I think where we want to know here, what I want to know is what is on blockchain. Where exactly does blockchain come in here? And maybe after that, we can speak to, okay, how does blockchain, make this cheaper, if that makes it, and more affordable. I think that is a right word to use. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how you would like me to proceed, but I'm happy to just explain a little bit about how our network looks, basically, just for anybody who doesn't know what World Mobile is and how what our network really looks like. I'm sure everybody's kind of aware how normal traditional telecoms looks like with, pole-to-pole solutions. You've got, normally you can see, just like, I guess, electricity, you can see the poles coming in, and there's also fiber optics and all these different ways that people are able to use traditional connectivity. But basically, we use a combination of technologies to be able to offer affordable connectivity, but also to address the issue of unconnectivity, because not every situation requires the same answer, right? There are many different reasons why certain regions are unconnected versus other regions. And so that's why we spend a lot of time testing different things. We use a combination of technologies to basically roll out our services. So we use something called a hybrid dynamic network, and through this we use a mix of aerial and ground assets, and specialized in lightweight antennas and radio equipments. I'm not a very technical person, but I'm going to try to just explain it in the way that that is as clear as possible. Basically, we have something called air nodes, which is what you mentioned, Alua, before. So air nodes are basically these structures that, for the sake of understandability, we can think of them as Wi-Fi routers that you would have in your house. But the ones that we design are basically they're able to be outside of your house, and they're more long range. And of course, they're designed differently, and they have different capabilities. They can reach a few meters around you. So basically, what you're able to do is through the air nodes, you can become an air node owner or an air node host. So when you become an owner, you can be a person that is residing anywhere in the world. So through this part of our service is not live yet, but this is what we're hoping to do in the future. So anybody can actually have the opportunity to buy an air node. But then people who host it are the people who are in the places where we roll out, which means currently within Zanzibar, you'll see that we've deployed around 400 air nodes. So we have an online platform where you can see this. It's called WMT Scan, and you'll see, and it's a page that's updated every single day, where you see how many people are using the network, how much data is being used every day, and how much a person would be able to earn by hosting an air node. So a person who's hosting an air node doesn't really require any cost out of their pockets. It just means that they will put the air node outside of their home, and then they'll be able to connect themselves and the people around them, and they are able to earn from that. So on the WMT Scan, you're able to see approximately the top 10 top earners from being an air node host within the Zanzibar rollout. So approximately somebody could earn up to around 80 USD, around that amount, to be able to by being able to connect the people around them, basically. And then we also have other assets like an aerostat, which is a tethered, almost like a balloon, but it has like huge. We use it as a backhaul for connectivity, and it has a long radius, around like 75 kilometers long. So there are multiple different kinds of solutions. We're solution agnostic to some extent, because for every region that requires a certain type of solution, we try to provide that, but we go through a testing process. Like recently, we actually had published saying we've tested in 3 other African countries outside of Zanzibar. We've been able to test in Kenya, Mozambique, and actually in Nigeria as well, and seeing how our infrastructure, or in what ways we can roll out in other countries as well. So yeah, we use different kinds of metrics. And so around your question with blockchain, so the blockchain part is part of our technology stack. So like I said, we're agnostic in terms of how we're using different solutions to address different issues, right? So the issue with traditional telecoms is not only, for example, the fact that it's unaffordable, that it's inaccessible, but traditional telecoms in general, where even in all over the world, one of the issues that it does have is, people don't necessarily trust where their data is going, right? So blockchain has the capability to provide a solution for that, where you have self-data governance, and we offer that within our technology, and the sharing economy is a big part of why we're able to roll out such an infrastructure. And the sharing economy basically means that it just enables us to basically own infrastructure. It's a way for distributed people to own infrastructure and build differently. And that's what when you were talking before about, okay, but why blockchain and all of these things, and this is what makes blockchain exciting. You were also mentioning how, what are the use cases? And I think this is such an intriguing use case, because it confronts how we think about building infrastructure. Because if you're thinking about building infrastructure in terms of traditional telecoms, it's billions of dollars that you have to invest, and it's a lot of whether it's infrastructure or different costs that would incur. Whereas when you're talking about a sharing economy, where we share the load of that connectivity load, but of building that infrastructure, but also being able to be rewarded for it, because we're connecting people that are not as connected, right? And so, which means everybody gets to earn rewards for being part of this network structure, whether it's people who are Earth node operators, who are basically our it's the part that validates so they are able also to earn some rewards by validating our validation part of our network, basically. And so there are definitely many parts of what we build that goes through the blockchain, and a part of that is also digital identity. You mentioned before about the unbanked, and that's actually a big part of what we're trying to have a conversation around, where, you're talking about banking the unbanked, but you can't do that without connecting the unconnected, because the solutions that crypto can offer is a solution for connected people. And oftentimes the people who are unbanked are the people who are unconnected. And so that's where our solution comes into play. And the evolution of digital identity has the potential to fundamentally change our everyday experiences. Because having an identity that is usable across borders, I think it was Paul Kagame in a recent address was talking about the need for digital identity, not just for individuals, but also for businesses. When we're talking about trading opportunities between our countries, I know coming from, I grew up in Addis, and the relationships or trading opportunities between Ethiopia and Kenya and even neighboring countries is almost unheard of, versus how we trade within Europe or in other Western countries. And so this really offers us an opportunity to be able to use technologies that can elevate opportunities for us as a continent, as people who can take ownership of their identity, data, and also the opportunity to be able to build infrastructure, to be part of building infrastructure within the countries that we live in. I know that a lot of us have a lot of diaspora communities that are sending money into our respective countries, but in the end, imagine being able to participate in a process where we can build infrastructure in our countries, earn from it, and really think about this not like we're building some kind of charitable process, but we can all make money and still be able to connect others. And I think that's the most exciting thing for me. That's the most exciting thing that we talk about within our company as well, within World Mobile, because it's an incredible opportunity to be able to rethink and confront how traditional ways of building are, versus that don't necessarily serve everyone, versus now where we're at this like cusp of an opportunity where blockchain enables us to think differently. So we challenge each other, we challenge we challenge everyone to kind of come into that place where we're rethinking how we're building. So that I want to take this opportunity also to applaud you and for creating this talk, this opportunity to be able to talk within the African continent about these very real ways that these technologies can actually change the way we work, the way we think, and even thinking about like the sharing economy and how, you're talking about basically sharing the load amongst a global sharing economy. And these practices are so embedded within our very old cultures, actually. And so this is an opportunity to kind of build on that. I don't really see blockchain as this foreign thing, but I choose and I want to think of it as a way where we actually find ways within our own cultures to understand it, and also use it to embolden that kind of share and caring that can go within it, right? And still be able to profit for it and rethink how businesses can be done as well. Sorry, I'm very passionate. I think I went a bit long-winded on that one, but
no, that's great, and thanks for the clarity there. Because because people say all the time, and I again I've gone through the cycle, the ICO cycle, when there was a white paper just for everything blockchain can do this, and then you just really have the question, what exactly are you putting on blockchain, right? Because of course we know the limitations of blockchain in itself. These are like questions, and a big number of our audience are builders, right? People will, so you just can't. It's not just about the theory anymore, right? You have to like be able to like spell it out to them. And I like how you mentioned that it is just one of like the technology stack you use. Of course, everything can't be all about blockchain. So just to like clarify, right? It's basically, so blockchain enables, basically is what powers the sharing economy that comes with that allows World Mobile to do what you're trying to do. So, and I believe that is what manages the reward system, the staking system, and all of that, right? And none of the actual. I mean, I believe it's not right, but none of the actual telecom. You talked about the end node and I keep forgetting the name of the balloon thing you have up there. None of it.
the
None of those
aerostat.
things, yeah, the aerostat. Thank you. None of those two are on the blockchain.
So whenever somebody, for example, makes a call through the air node, so the air node, you can make the aerostat and the air node are able to basically connect you, right? And so whatever transactions or interactions go through that telecoms process goes through the blockchain and is validated through the blockchain, but not all of it has not all of it is an on-chain process, right? But this part where people use the telecoms part is also part of the sharing economy, and so that's how our validators are also able to earn from it. But not everything is on chain. That's also an important part of what we do and the solutions we provide, because it is depending on the regions, depending on where we are. You can talk theory as much as we want, but I think it really does also depend on regulations and different parts of the aspects. But there is a blockchain aspect in a lot of the things that we do. I hope that clarifies it.
Yes, it does clarify it. And so you talked about regulation, and I remember, I don't know if it was, I read something, because of course I've been following World Mobile for a while, and I do not know if it was during a speech, but one of the things that allows, I remember a note being made somewhere that one of the reasons that you are able to offer, this level of affordability is, and we probably would touch on that, what affordability actually looks like, if you could answer that as well. But also there's this part where I've read or heard somewhere that it's because what you do, the way you set up, doesn't require you to have require you to like get a license. I want you to speak to that a little bit.
Sorry, can you clarify that last bit a bit? That we don't offer what?
That way, the way you work, the kind of setup you have, maybe because of the scale, or you just don't operate at the scale that requires you to secure a license to operate, maybe a telecommunication license.
Oh, we always have licenses. I don't think it's yeah, we always we're always working with regulators. We're very involved in that process as well. I think there are different things where people say unlicensed, you can use unlicensed spectrum and things, but this is also it's a legal process. It's just part of what you can use actually. But in terms of what makes us affordable, I think it's because we don't have that kind of the way that traditional telecoms does with base to base to base kind of solutions. We don't necessarily do that. So the air nodes allow us to create a mesh network that that makes our solution more affordable. And did I get your question? I think I missed something.
Yeah. I think you touched on that. But also, what does affordability look like? So on the average right
Mm-hmm.
now, I think you're live in Zanzibar, right? And I'm sure you're looking to expand. Um,
Yeah.
so currently, so a gigabyte, and I think that's how we price data in here in Nigeria. What does it cost to say I want to get like up to a gigabyte of via your network? What does it cost?
Ooh, that's a really good question, and I actually don't know. But I'm gonna find out and let you know. But I know, so we offer packages that so basically in every place that we do offer connectivity. Right now it's in Zanzibar, and then we're also planning to launch soon in Pakistan. We do a study, right? What is affordable in that area? How much are people paying for their data? And then we try to come at a much lower price range than that, because again, affordability is a big part of people being able to access data. So I'll try to pin a tweet here and sharing what kind of packages we offer within Zanzibar. But from story perspective and from what we've been able to talk to people on the ground, we've been able to hear that yeah, they've been able to be connected at a cheaper price point, but also because of how easy it is to purchase our data, it's been yeah, a good process for them to be able to stay connected. And yeah, we've also heard like the different packages are able to, I don't know if it's the same in Nigeria, but specifically in Kenya and even in Ethiopia you have that, and which is quite recent. And in Zanzibar you are able to create data packages so people can purchase what they feel is good for them and their needs. So they decide, they have that autonomy to say, okay, I need a certain package for the week or the day or a certain different time frame, so that they decide what fits their income brackets. And so that's been quite helpful for them in terms of the versatile packages we've been able to offer. But I'll be sure to pin a tweet about our price points.
All right, great. Yeah, it'll be nice to get an idea of that. Uh, But yeah, that's it's interesting to find out. And you're right. The way data is tend to be priced is you buy what you can really afford, and there are like packages, um, and what you think you need as well. But when it comes down to it, right? And I have this question. I'm not sure if you'll be able to speak to it. And I think it's just like talking about the business aspect of the solution, right? Um, One of the reasons why I believe that the traditional telecoms are able to do what they do at scale is because they've built like a unit economics model that works, right? And I'm curious to know because when we talk about blockchain, one of the things we mention is that it lowers costs, it does this, and I'm curious. So because for example, people would have to invest in Node, I have to like be sure that it's like what investment for me. So it has to go beyond the fact that this is me trying to help some people in the developed world. It has to like make business sense and investment sense to me. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So are you able to like manage these expectations of like people who participate in the network to make it work, right? And that's hunger for, and then your interest in like keeping costs low. I don't know if that makes sense. I think that's something you can speak to.
I can try to shed a little bit of light onto it. I'm sure there are people in the business that are probably best versed in providing that answer. But what I can say for sure is, obviously, we know it's important for us to come at that lower price bracket, and also we do believe we can, and we have in Zanzibar, and we've already, I think, released the data packages in Pakistan, and we are coming at that lower price point, but also absolutely people have to earn from it. We have to earn from it. It's not just not just specific people, but everyone has to be able to earn from it, and that's why it can be sustainable, earning rewards for being able to maintain the network. And we've been able to we believe we've been able to demonstrate that in the last within our commercial launch in Zanzibar. But I think so far we're still tweaking some of the sharing economy model. This is still things that we're working on. But like you said, maybe somebody doesn't have the opportunity to be able to buy an air node, but what they might be able to, if they're within the network, if they are placed within the network range that we're trying to deploy in, then they're able to be an air node host, and that costs nothing. They just have to be there, willing, and we provide that process as well. And you've seen, for example, when you go into WMT scan, you'll be able to see what an air node host is meant to earn actually. And so on that site, you're able to see, for example, somebody in Zanzibar. So this is all just from Zanzibar, right? So somebody in Zanzibar who has paid, basically, who doesn't have to pay anything to buy an air node, because right now it's not for sale. But also, if you're a host, you don't necessarily have to. So just by connecting themselves and the others, they're able to earn up to $85 a month. And I think, I don't want to say that lightly, because I think you're talking about coming in at a low price point, being able to connect people, and then it's helping your community. It's being able to connect yourself, your community, but also being able to earn that much money in the income brackets that we know exist within within Zanzibar. It's huge. It's a real process. So we believe that kind of reward system is what's going to be helping us scale at a much faster pace, because now we're seeing, for example, in Zanzibar, we have a process of like explaining what we do, and we love that process as well. It's part of what we want to do actually, because being part of that educational process is a part of building something different, right? So so we see people understanding what it's doing for their friends and their neighbors. I want to assume it's the same in Nigeria, but it's the same in Ethiopia, and I see it also in Kenya, where people are taking the word of mouth and saying, listen, I really like what they've got and I want it too. And that's a clear testament for us in terms of how we've been able to roll out, but also people seeing the actual benefits from it as well.
All right, great. Thank you for that. It doesn't quite answer my question, but I get
Oh
what you.
no.
Yeah. So because I was just trying to
Mm-hmm.
understand from like that business perspective, because I also think it has to make business sense for it to
Yeah,
scale, right? And
100%.
yeah, and that is what I wanted to like get an idea about, and I think I'll just I'm sure this is a conversation that will just basically continue, because again, these are the things we're looking into, like the work the likes of World Mobile is doing, right? Uh, but thank you so much. And there is one other question that I wanted to ask. I think Marco has something to add today, so it'll be great to hear from you. But just before that, you said you are tested in 3 other African countries, something we covered at Mariblock. Uh, Nigeria, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana. What was the third country again? That's Kenya, of course. When are you? Do you have an idea of when the rollout what the rollout would look like when you're launching in these countries, and what region in these countries are you targeting?
We're still at the testing process, and we haven't disclosed anything like that just yet. But yeah, just make sure to follow World Mobile, all of our socials, and we'll be sure to be able to share that info with everyone when it's ready.
All right, great. Marco, hi.
Hey everyone. Sorry, I didn't know that if I'm able to make a question, but yeah, I just try it if that's fine.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, great. Great to know about what you guys are doing at the World Mobile. So a bit of context, we have a centralized protocol that provides unconditional basic income and microcredit in a lot of developing countries. Most of the vulnerable communities live in kind of extreme poverty. Most are unbanked, and they are able to claim on a regular basis a few cents on a dollar or a dollar. It depends on how much money is available. And basically, what we see is in some places, the connectivity is a bit of an issue at the beginning, but then as people start to receive some money, it drives everything else. So the few that have connectivity share with others, so the others start to get some UBI, so they will be able to pay for connectivity, and then because it's community driven in, let's say, refugee camps, Brazilian favelas. We are in Ghana, Uganda, Afghanistan, Togo, Mali, Brazil. So a little all over the place. The question is like, how is it possible to pay connectivity with you guys with crypto? So like, I have a stable coin, I just make a simple payment and I get connectivity. Because in this case, it goes both ways. You mentioned that so you cannot bank the unbanked without connectivity, but access, if people have access to finance and some crypto, they in a community they will be able to do the other way around. So you just need to kind of facilitate how easy it is to buy data using crypto. Not sure if that was clear.
Yes. Your project sounds really interesting. Would love to learn more about it. Hopefully, would love to connect afterwards. But in terms of being able to buy through crypto at the moment in Zanzibar, it's not possible. But I think it's still something that we are looking into somehow in different places because, so far, no. But we do have a global app that we're launching soon. It's in the testing period right now, and you're able to, I think, on-ramp with it. And this is, we were trying to facilitate easier ways to basically welcome more people into blockchain as well, like much easier ways than is available at the moment. And we think our global app is going to be able to facilitate a bit of that as well. So if you would, I'll share a link about our global app as well.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I would love to connect because we can reach a lot of those vulnerable communities, but I think this point is critical because, like, even if you provide connectivity, then you will need those people to have access to fiat or digital fiat or a bank account in order to or off-ramp or to pay debts, and that will break it. It's harder to get a bank account than connectivity, but we'll love to help on that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you actually because for example in Ethiopia we don't have an open banking system. So when I first got into crypto, and this is a story that I tell sometimes about how the first time I was able to really ever in my life buy anything online was because I got paid in Bitcoin and I was able to buy a flight ticket to somewhere I wanted to go. And that was the first time I was ever able to go into the online market that's globally available and purchase something. So I absolutely appreciate what you're saying about sometimes you have the connectivity, but of course, being able to get people to basically benefit from the global market is also a very different conversation, right? But it is a pace by pace process. And for now, there's a few things that we're working on, but it takes everyone's efforts. So really happy to be able to link up and talk more about what are the other opportunities where we can we can support each other.
All right, then. That's great. Thanks so much for the contribution and the question, Marco. And I think we should definitely have a conversation too. I would love to understand what you're doing at Impact Market. I think I've looked at a few things, right? But I mean, it would be just great to hear from you personally on this subject. And I don't know. I think that's it for us, right? I kind of exhausted or have exhausted my questions for you, Anna, except you have anything to add. And if anyone has any questions, and so we're talking about, just for those that are just joining us, we're talking about how World Mobile, is using blockchain or the role blockchain is playing in World Mobile's push to bring internet affordability to emerging markets and especially Africa. And if you're just joining us for the first time, this is space is organized by Mariblock. Mariblock is an information company focused on Africa, blockchain developments in Africa. We believe blockchain can solve some African problems, and we are here to illuminate those use cases in a practical in a practical way. And our question is always, we start from the place, do you even need blockchain for this, right? Beyond the hype. So it'll be great that if you love the space, you love the conversation we're having. We do have this kind of conversation often. You want to follow us, it'll be great to have you on this journey along with us, right? So the handle is just the host handle here, the Mariblock. Give us a follow. Thank you. Marco, do you have another question?
Sorry, guys. Quick question or / suggestion. So just to ask if you ever considered doing a kind of crowdsourced connectivity or network, meaning something like if I'm a user, I buy some data and then I can get some crypto rewards for sharing that connectivity with others. So the more bandwidth I share through my device with others, probably I can get some tokens of you guys or tokens of whatever partner or whatever sponsor. So you can multiply you will be able to multiply like the reach for the same infrastructure while distributing those rewards. That could be a kind of like a payment or an incentive for it. So just to throw this idea or question if you guys have ever considered something like that.
I'm not sure. So is your idea that somebody, for example, it could be anybody in the world, or is it somebody, for example, if we've rolled out in Zanzibar, within our rollout in Zanzibar, you're thinking somebody in Zanzibar will just put their data in a pot or something, and people could just take that bandwidth. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's something like anyone that is connected to your services that buy data from you. I just hotspot my device, and the more people are connected, and of course, that they will be spending my data, I will be rewarded for that. Something like that.
I love it. No, I'm not sure I've been in any conversation where something like that has been shared. So I will share courtesy of Marco, our new friend. But I'm not sure I've ever heard of that. But we do have a scan for points system that we're implementing within our global app, and basically what this does is wherever you can go around and this is, you can have it it's not rolled out yet, we're in testing at the moment in specific countries, but basically you can go around activating this app, and you basically, it helps us understand and map out how your connectivity is doing. So by doing that, you're able to earn certain loyalty points, which basically enables us to understand, first of all, what the situation is where you are, where anybody is. And then on top of that, you'll be able to earn by basically enabling us to map out what the connectivity gaps look like. So there's a version of that, but not exactly what you said. But I like what you mentioned. It's like a very socialist, like sharing everything model, which I think... yeah, it could be interesting to try. I'll definitely pass it along. Thank you.
I was just thinking how Marco was in conversation with World Mobile, but I just realized that I think he's more and his project are more based on the cellular network, while World Mobile is primarily on the Cardano network, right?
Yes, we are currently... our solution is currently built on the Cardano blockchain, but it is meant to be an agnostic blockchain as well. So yeah, but definitely a lot of love to the Cardano community, and I see some of our Earth node operators in the room, so just giving a lot of love to our community.
Alrighty, great. Yeah, so thank you so much. If you have just maybe a last word, and we just call this. It's been a great one for me, just learning more about World Mobile and what you're doing. I look forward to seeing you, expand to Nigeria, and I think the markets here. I mean, because of the sheer number of the population here. It's going to be one to surmount. And I think the other question I would have loved is in terms of roadmap, and because I'm sure you have a roadmap, just how large do you think in terms of coverage do you think or do you envisage World Mobile to be? We have MTN probably have like the largest customer base. They have maybe into, I'm sure, hundreds of millions, right? What is that? What does that look like for World Mobile?
I mean, yeah, we have a roadmap. We're quite transparent about our process. We have a public Trello board that people can look through, see what we're updating, what we're changing, how we're moving, what our plans are, and how big our sites are setting. And in terms of how big, I mean, listen, there's almost 3 billion people unconnected. And we've covered earlier about what does it mean to be meaningfully connected, and having the kind of internet connection that can really change lives and change the way we connect and move. So we don't see ourselves in competition with anybody. We think that, that's also why we're solution agnostic. Like we just want to bridge the digital divide, and we believe that we can do it together. We really believe in the power of community, but also in restructuring these kinds of models that are not serving so many of us. And it's just really, I think it's really a big thing that I think it's going to be something that's going to take over the world, honestly. And I'm not just being optimistic. It's because, I see it every day in our community and how we build. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I was just curious to know. Okay, maybe you can give us a number. So, because I mean, we at Mariblock, we have a number. By the end of this year, we want to reach this number. We want to go our audience based to this number, right? So, in Zanzibar, during the test, just how many users? I'm not sure I could see that on the WMC website. If that is information you have, it will be great to just have an idea what that looks like.
So on the WMT scan page, you'll see it's a page that's updated every day. We see around 16,000 unique users every 24 hours. And yesterday we just got up to 400 air nodes like that had gone live in Zanzibar, and we're upping the numbers every day. Our team doesn't stop, so we are and it's 400 days of uninterrupted network uptime. So this is also very important. We think that number is going to just go higher, but it's going to go much higher when we're deploying in Pakistan as well, which our model is you have to understand, like Zanzibar and what we're doing now is it's just the start. It's like testing how everything is moving, but this is a copy paste model. And so once we are able to do that in Zanzibar, it's going to be much easier to implement that solution within whether it's Mozambique or Kenya or different places. We're going to tweak it, of course, but some of the elements that we've learned just is able to be replicated easier. So we're seeing, we're hoping for more, but definitely can't commit to a specific number, or I'm not the person to commit to a specific number. So I can just leave it at that. And I'm happy to wrap us up and just say, thank you for this space. It was really amazing to be here with you and really talk about African solutions and add a much in-depth kind of conversation around it. I think digital access and inclusivity is really for everyone. We're seeing it in a lot of the statistics that we're finding, but also in it opens doors to creatives, people making films that are now going onto international stages and telling our stories from our own voices, and that's quite important. We see how Afrobeats is the gift that keeps on giving, and that's because internet is available for us, and people are able to earn from making things that they love. People are learning online, and they're changing the ways that they interact, they do business, and just I don't know, it's quite an exciting place to be in this moment. And just kind of feeling really encouraged by having more conversations around this topic. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm online a lot on Twitter, but also if you want to have deeper conversations around, or even work, or have any ideas, just feel free to shoot a text. Thank you so much for having us. It's been really a pleasure.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time. And thanks to everyone for joining us. And apologies once more for the disruption earlier with the space crashing. Happy that we got through to the end of this. And once again, do give us a follow. We are, again, shining light on blockchain development in Africa. We tell people, and what we're doing is that we're building a blockchain, a kind of information infrastructure to allow blockchain adoption, blockchain growth on the continent. We have a lot of interesting and exciting updates and developments coming over the next few weeks to months, right? And different initiatives, right? And if you have anything, story you want to talk about, you want to tell, please reach out to us. We have a growing, fast-growing audience of. We do have like about 5 audience group that we're trying to reach. We have the crypto curious, we have the crypto savvy, and we have the entrepreneurs, and we have the regulators. We try to like provide information that fits the needs of each of those audience group. And then we also have the African curious. So if you're curious about what is happening in Africa, what is building on the continent, what's the latest regulatory updates, we are your place to find that information. And so we started out exclusively to do that because we felt it wasn't okay for us to have to rely on the Western media for information about what is happening in Africa. And we are excited to be on this journey. We've been doing this for just a little over a year now, and we just I would say we're entering into the second phase of our development, and it'll be great to have you join us along. Thank you once again for your time today, and do have a great weekend.